Hey guys, what's up? Today I am doing the Book Courtship Tag. This tag was created by Hill Loves Books. Unfortunately I wasn't tagged by anyone, but I thought it was a cool tag so I wanted to do it anyways. Basically this tag relates to different stages of a relationship to different kinds of books, and I thought this tag was really cool, so now I'ma do it. Phase 1, Initial Attraction. What is a book you picked up because of the cover? I'm going with the Shatter Me series by Tere Mafi. In reality, I picked up this series actually by the cover of Ignite Me because when I first started really getting into BookTube, that was when Ignite Me had just come out and everyone on BookTube was raving about it, and I saw the cover with all the eyes and the flowers and I was like, oh my god, I have to read this book. Had no idea what it was about, but the cover was just so pretty and it was just calling to me. It was calling my name from the YouTube screen. And so then I went through all the hassle of getting the actual Shatter Me cover that matches the rest of them because the Shatter Me hardcover does not look anything like this. But I totally picked this series up because of the cover of Ignite Me, and I'm so happy I did because I really love this series. Phase 2, First Impressions. What is a book you got because of the summary? Now I know I do have a lot of books that are very popular on BookTube at the moment, but a lot of times my favorite books actually come from me just walking around Barnes & Noble, just looking at different covers and picking up different books and reading their summaries and then thinking I'll like them. And one of my most recent buys of that type that I ended up really loving was Elusive by Emily Lloyd-Jones. Now I'm going to read the back and then I'm going to read the synopsis, and I think you guys will understand why I picked up this book. This would be the beginning of a new world order. An age of real superheroes here to solve humanity's problems. However, there was one flaw in that reasoning. Human physiology was altered. Human nature wasn't. And so I was like, whoa, that sounds cool. I want to know more about it. So I opened it and I read the cover. And so the actual synopsis is, they are young, they are criminals, they are immune. When the deadly MK virus swept across the planet, a vaccine was created to stop the epidemic, but it came with unexpected side effects. A small percentage of the population developed superhero-like powers, and Americans suffering from these so-called adverse effects were given an ultimatum: serve the country or be declared a traitor. Some people chose a third option: live a life of crime. 17-year-old Sierra Gibba has the handy ability to change her appearance at will. She's what's known as an illusionist. She's also a thief. After crossing a gang of mobsters, Sierra must team up with a group of fellow superpowered criminals on a job that most would have considered impossible, a hunt for the formula that gave them their abilities. It was supposedly destroyed years ago, but what if it wasn't? Government agents are hot on their trail, and the lines between good and bad, us and them, and freedom and entrapment are blurred as Sierra and the rest of her crew become embroiled in a dangerous race that could cost them their lives. If any of you heard that synopsis and you don't want to read the book now, I don't believe you. This book was awesome and it was everything I was expecting from that synopsis, and I could not be happier that I just randomly picked it up in Barnes & Noble. Phase 3, Sweet Talk. A book with great writing. I'm gonna go with The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I really appreciate the way she writes her books. I feel like she does a great job at writing all different kinds of characters, whether they're good characters, they're evil characters, or just kind of mediocre characters. In such a dark dystopian world, she does a great job at expressing that, as well as the little comedic relief that the characters have between each other, and it doesn't feel like it's out of place or forced. Everything in the series just flows so nicely together, and I really appreciate the way she writes her books, and I can't wait to read more from her. Phase 4, First Date. A first book in the series that made you want to read the rest of it. I picked Relabel by Rachel Hawkins. It just so happens that for me as a reader, a lot of the times a series that I do want to pick up are either completed or they have like one book left. So a lot of times I'll buy the entire series if I really think I'm going to like it before actually reading it. With Relabel, I didn't even know if there was going to be a continuation of this series, and it's kind of foreign for me to just pick up the first novel in a fantasy series without actually knowing anything else about the rest of the series. I was a little wary on Relabel at first because I didn't really grasp the whole concept before actually reading the book, but after reading it I knew I had to continue on with the series. I just recently read Miss Mayhem and I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait for this series to continue. Phase 5, Late Night Phone Calls. What is a book that kept you up all night? I picked Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Right before I read Fangirl, I was in a massive reading slump. Like, I normally read like at least like 5 to 7 books a month. That month I had only read like 2. And so finally I picked up Fangirl, and it was just exactly what I needed. I read this book over the course of 2 days, and a lot of it was spent reading very late at night. I literally just could not stop reading it before I went to bed. I missed so much sleep on this book, but it was so worth it because it was so good. Phase 6, Always on My Mind. What is a book that you could not stop thinking about? Now, I know I talk about the Mortal Instruments a lot in my videos, like to the point of it probably being like, you know, a little biased. But if I could accurately express how many times a day I think about it, I would probably be put and an institution for people like me. Like, I'll be sitting in class and I'm like, okay, so when is this whole demon gonna crash through the door and then I can kill it, and then Jace can be like, yo, you're a shadow hunter, come to the institute. Like, I wait for these real life situations like that, and I just think about them all the time. I really can't explain how much I think about these books. Like, it is so unhealthy. I fear for my sanity, but I can't stop because they're so, so good. Phase 7, Getting Physical. What is a book that you love the way it feels? I picked The Archived by Victoria Schwab. Now, I went through this phase about a year ago when, like, I was very particular to the way certain books felt. Some books have like a very like plasticky, shiny feel to it. I don't really like those books. But The Archived is kind of like smooth and like, I don't want to say like it's fuzzy, but it has like a nice feel to it. And then like the key is like that shiny material, so like it's nice to like rub your hands all over it, and then it's like, oh, that's not the same material, like it sticks out. I don't know how to describe this feeling, but like if you guys touch these books, you know what I'm talking about. Like Mara Dyer has the same cover and Beautiful Creatures has the same cover. Soft, but like not like clean and shiny soft. They have like a little bit of a texture to it, and I feel like a weirdo because now I'm just feeling my books. I just stopped answering the question because I just got so invested in feeling this book. Phase 8, Meeting the Parents. What is a book that you'd like to recommend to all your friends and family? This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. I talk about this book a lot on my channel because it is just super personal to me. I would love for everyone who is really close to me in my life to read this book because I think you really get an insight as to how I work as a person. It really describes how I feel in school a lot of the times. Like the main character, Elise, she can never fit in. She changes her entire wardrobe, she tries to act differently, and she still ends up totally depressed, just wanting the approval of her peers, and that's something that I grew up with. And then all of a sudden she goes to a secret nightclub in her town and she finds love there, and I don't mean love in the respect of another person, I mean love within herself and love for the scene. And that's really me with electronic music. I mean, although Elise has different tastes than I do, it's kind of the same thing. When Elise is DJing at this club, that's me when I'm dancing at one of my clubs, and it is just the best feeling to know that somebody could accurately put that into words for me. So I think if you really want to get an insight as to how I feel, you should read one of my all-time favorite books, and that is This Song Will Save Your Life. Phase 9, Thinking About the Future. What is a book that you know you will reread many, many times to come? Considering I've already read Harry Potter 11 to 16 times, I lost count years ago, so I'm just kind of in that like range now. I know that I'm always going to reread it. I don't think my life would be okay if I couldn't just pick up Harry Potter and read the whole series through. You know, it's become such a huge part of my life, and I don't know how I could function without like seeing it every day in my room. It's just a super important book to me, and I know that for years to come, I will always be reading the series. Finally, Phase 10, Share the Love, Who Do You Tag? Considering I love all of my lovely subscribers, I'm going to tag each and every one of you. So if you see this tag and you're like, hey, that tag sounds really cool, and you're like, oh wait, no, nobody tagged me. No, I'm tagging you now. I want everyone to know that I am personally tagging you. So that is the Book Courtship Tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you have read any of these books, or if me talking about these books has made you want to read any of them, leave me a comment below because I love hearing what you guys think. That is it for this video, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!